Welcome to the Introduction to Activator tutorial. In this tutorial we'll cover creating a chapter, loading a chapter, creating a page, editing a page, loading and unloading bundles, Indie versus Pro mode, spawning objects, and introduction to the page editor. Let's start by creating a chapter. I already have the Activator editor scene loaded in Unity. For this phase, we'll need to enter Unity Play mode. Press the play button on the top center of the Unity screen. When it turns blue, we're ready to go. Go to the top menu and select Active Reader, New Chapter. A window will pop up asking you where you would like to save your new chapter. Select a directory and name your chapter. Click Save. Your chapter will be named, whatever you named your chapter, .chp. This will pop up two windows. One is the chapter editor and one is the bundle editor. Let's dock these next to the Hierarchy tab. Just drag the tab title to move it. Feel free to adjust the width of your newly docked tabs to make them easier to read. Our chapters are saved as filename.chp. All ActiveReader chapter files will end with the .chp file type. To close a chapter, click the X on the top right of the Chapter Editor tab. To load a chapter, just as for creating a chapter, we'll need to be in play mode. If you're not already, click the play button arrow. To load a new chapter, go to the top menu, ActiveReader, and select Open Chapter. Navigate to the directory where the chapter is saved, and open the .chp file of your desired chapter. Now that we have a brand new chapter, let's add our first page. To add a new page, we'll go to the newly docked Chapter Editor tab and select Plus Page. In the new window, enter a name of your page next to page ID. Select Create New Page. ActiveReader will give us a prompt that the new page was created successfully. Say OK. Our new page is listed in the Chapter Editor tab. It's blank, but ready to have a bundle assigned. Let's cover some of the page editing features. You can do multiple things by editing a page. To do this, right-click on your page name, go to Page, and select one of the following options. You can change your page ID or page name by clicking Change Page ID. Enter a new name for your page, and click Change ID. You might want to duplicate a page. To do this, right-click your page name, go to Page, and select Duplicate Page. Enter the new page ID of your duplicate page and select Create New Page. Presto, new-ish page. The Export Page option will allow you to export your page to an .arx file. Remember, when you do this, you'll need to include any and all bundles that are used for your page's assets, along with your exported page file. Bundles are not exported with your page. To delete a page, go to Page, Delete Page. It's almost too easy. The other page editing feature is versions. Pages created in the ActiveReader are automatically assigned as master versions. You'll notice that in the top right of the chapter editor, there's a drop-down menu labeled Master. That is what version you are instructing ActiveReader to load. Using different versions of pages is useful for editing or making changes to an existing page while not affecting the master copy. To create a new version of a page, right-click on the page, go to Version, and select Duplicate Version. A window will pop up with two fields, Page ID and Page Version. Enter the page ID of the existing master copy you'd like a new version of, and enter an alternate version title. Hit Create New Page. Now when you look in the Version drop-down menu, you will see both master and your alternate version. Selecting different versions in this drop-down menu will tell ActiveReader which version of the page you'd like to load when you click the Load button. We'll get into loading pages in just a minute. First, let's talk about loading and unloading bundles. I'll take you through the steps of assigning a bundle now. The objective here is to have ActiveReader load our bundles into memory when the page loads. In the Bundle Editor tab, you will see the available bundles that you have imported. Make sure your bundle is listed here. Next, we'll go to the Chapter Editor and right-click on the page title. Go to Bundles and select Edit Bundles. Change our tab to the Bundle Editor now so we can assign our bundle. You can see our City Demo bundle is listed here under All Indie Bundles. Right-click this bundle and select Add to Both Lists. This will make it so the bundle loads when the page loads and unloads when the page unloads. This will save us memory. Remember how we discussed bundles earlier and how there were raw bundles and pro bundles? Indie mode works with only raw, uncompressed bundles, or indie bundles. Pro mode uses pro bundles, which are compressed and optimized for devices. In indie mode, you can unload and load bundles one at a time. Pro mode, you need to unload all bundles at once. You can swap between indie and pro mode by clicking on the top right, Swap to Pro, or Swap to Indie. In this tutorial, we'll be working in indie mode, so make sure it says Swap to Pro, meaning we're in indie mode. Now that our bundle is assigned, we'll spawn objects on our page. First, let's load our page. Go back to the chapter editor and click Load to the right of our page name. This will pop up another window. You can dock this window next to the project tree. We can either spawn our bundle assets one at a time using Spawn and then selecting the prefab you'd like to spawn, or we can click One of Each. One of Each will spawn one of each item in your bundle. To spawn one item, click Spawn, select the prefab you'd like to spawn, and spawn it. You'll notice the object is listed down here in the page editor. To delete an item, go to the Hierarchy tab, find our chapter name, and then page we're working on, and select the item you'd like to delete. Right-click on this item and say Delete. To spawn one of each item, click on the One of Each button. This will spawn one of each item in your loaded bundle. You can find a list of all page elements in the Hierarchy tab. They are also displayed to the left of the timeline in the page editor. Congratulations! You've successfully imported your Photoshop file into ActiveReader. If we go to the scene view, the three-dimensional view, we have a fully three-dimensional, layered scene based on our bundle. You can see the layer hierarchy from the Photoshop file has determined which element will be most forward. You can see the sky, which was the bottom item in the hierarchy, is all the way at the back. Then layering forward to building left and building right in the front. In game view, everything appears to be flat. The last section of this tutorial will cover an introduction to the page editor. In this section, we'll do a brief overview of the various page editor features. We will go into more depth on each of these in the future. The most prominent feature of the page editor is the timeline. Here you will find your event block, as well as a row for each asset spawned on your page. The timeline is used to keyframe animations to your assets. The event tree is accessed by double-clicking the green event block line on your timeline. When you do this, a window containing your event editor will pop up and can be docked anywhere you'd like. The playback button will play the animation and events in your timeline and event block. When you press the playback button, you will notice your current frame changing, as well as your time measured in milliseconds. Click Stop to stop playback. To scrub along and change the current frame on your timeline, hold the middle mouse button while inside your timeline and drag to the desired time. Zoom adjusts your timeline's size in relation to frames or seconds. Increase the zoom for more precise editing. Show event ticks will create vertical lines through the timeline whenever an event is present in the event block. Color block is used to alter the color and alpha of an object over time. Sprite block is used to add a sprite asset to your page. Use the text block to add text to your page. Motion block is used to keyframe asset animation, including rotation, scale, and movement. We'll be covering all of these and more in the coming tutorials. You've got the basics down, and you're now familiar with Unity and ActiveReader. You have your art imported, and you're ready to get animating. In our next tutorial, Animation in the Timeline and Circulation, you will learn the basics of animation using the above features, and cover the concept of circulation. Look forward to seeing you then.